Indie Beacon Radio with hostess Dr. Keitha Story-Stephenson. Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Keitha Story-Stephenson, and today our guest is Paula Winskye of Snowflake, Arizona. She began writing at the age of 12 by publishing her first book in 2003, and she has published her 20th book in 2019 called The Reverend Finds His Way. So I want to welcome you to the show, Paula.
Thank you for having me.
It is an honor and a privilege always to talk to artists and authors, so I appreciate the opportunity. What I would like to do is I have a few questions for you that our viewers would be interested in seeing. So if you will bear with me, we'll just begin there. Why don't you tell our viewers about your writing career?
So, well, I started writing stories about girls and horses when I was 12 years old. I did it that was my hobby. And when I was in college, I asked an English professor how I would get published. And he told me, or how anyone would get published. He said, if I wanted to get published, I'd marry a publisher's daughter. And so I thought, well, it's impossible. You know, I just will never be published. But I never stopped writing because I just enjoyed it so much. And then along about the 2000, print-on-demand publishing came along, and I studied it, and I decided, okay, I am going to try print-on-demand publishing. And I did. I published several books that way, and I continued submitting to small publishers. I had 2 books that were published through a traditional small publisher, and then I went back to self-publishing.
Tell me a little bit about the development of the Tony Wagner series.
Well, Tony Wagner came about. I had tried to write another mystery because I decided, you know, I read mysteries. Why am I not writing them? And I tried one, and it ended up being more of a romance mystery than a mystery. And so I tried again, and I just like the idea of a seminary student, a good guy. And I involved him in the hunt for a serial killer, where he discovers his passion for investigation. And I liked the character so much, I kept writing about him. And I've now published 10 in the series, and I have an idea for the 11th.
Oh, they're very good. Could you tell me what was your educational background that you think prepared you for a career in writing?
I do not have that. I have a degree in agriculture education, and through that I needed to take a journalism class. When I took English in college, I took American literature, and I got a D in that. But then I just went back to the straight English classes in college, and it was all writing. And so that's where the aforementioned professor told me not to try and get published. But I just wrote, and I wrote, and I wrote. So I don't have any educational background that would have said, this is going to be a writer.
Well, as a writing mentor myself, I will tell you that that ag degree has probably shown up in the way Tony moves through the plotting of the stories, the things that you know about the land that most people wouldn't know. How does, go ahead.
And that is the thing. My mysteries, most of my books are set in rural areas, the wilderness, farmland, ranches. And that is, you're not going to see me writing anything that's set in the city. I don't know anything about the city.
So even as a young girl, when you were writing about girls and horses, you were writing what you knew, which is the
Yeah,
cardinal rule for a good writer.
yes.
Excellent. Well, how does your work today and your everyday life work into the plotting of your stories? Tell our
Um,
viewers what you do on a volunteer basis.
I am a sheriff's auxiliary volunteer for Navajo County, Arizona. And through that, I do things like house watches, I patrol, I do site security. For example, the book I'm working on now has a serial arsonist, and last summer I got to do site security on an arson fire where we just sit there and wait on it until they release the scene. Um, and I think it's really been beneficial being this sheriff's auxiliary to learning more about law enforcement.
I think that again, you're underscoring that cardinal rule, and that is write what you know. And so you're adding your experience into that, and that's awesome. Uh, every writer that I have ever met has a support team. Who is your support team?
My husband, John, he was the one who in 1999, I put another finished manuscript in the box in the closet and, you know, proudly announced that I'd finished another story. And he says, why don't you try and get something published? And he is my biggest salesman, my biggest promoter. His support is just great.
Fantastic. Tell me a little bit about the Sisters in Crime Writing Organization.
I joined that in 2014. It's an international organization, mostly women, but there are both sisters in crime and misters in crime. So we do have men in our organization. And I belong to the Tucson chapter. And it is for mystery, thriller writers as well as readers. We have people that just enjoy reading mysteries who come to our chapter meetings.
Do you think they have improved the relationship has improved your writing?
Yes, I think it has, and it's opened up so many opportunities for promoting my books. And I'm always at the Tucson Festival of Books. I was very disappointed when it was canceled this year. I work the booth for the Sisters in Crime. And I try to get to meetings, and we have some speakers that really help. I had the opportunity to tour the Tucson Crime Lab through the Sisters in Crime, and so yes, many opportunities have opened up.
Well, it sounds like you've woven that support team not only to encourage and to have your back, but to help lead you forward. Would you encourage other writers to look for similar organizations for that purpose?
Yes, and writers groups. I strongly believe in writers groups. I started one out here in rural Arizona, and I found another one which I joined a few miles away. So I go to 2 writers groups every month.
Mm-hmm. Do you do any speaking or book signings out in Tucson or in your area?
I do every opportunity I get. I am a shameless self-promoter.
You're a writer. You have to be. Oh, now I know that you have used publishing houses and POD. What's the advantage of a POD for an author?
A control.
Explain it to the reader. I mean, to the viewer today, and then what is the advantage?
Okay, the print-on-demand publishing is a self-publishing option, and you can get as much help as you want, or if you're short on cash, like some of us, you can do everything yourself and format the book, create the cover, do all of that yourself, and that will really reduce your cost. And I can release the book when I want to. you might have a publisher say, oh, we love your book, it'll be out in 2 years. My fans don't want to wait 2 years for my book.
I can understand. I interviewed Chad Hennings from the Dallas Cowboys, and he had done conventional press on his first one, publishing, and it was fine, but he was aggravated because of the small pay from the publisher's class per book. So he not only took over books 2 and 3, he bought back his rights on books 1 so that he could control it. So it's authors have to look out for their financial back pocket. They surely do.
Mm-hmm.
How much time do you spend in the process of writing a day, or is there a when the mood strikes you kind of thing? Wait, you know what we'll do? Let us take a break here and talk to the sponsors. So keep that in mind, and we'll be right back with Paula Winskye and find out more about her book, The Reverend Finds His Way, and we'll also talk about her publishing understanding.
I'm Rox Berkey.
And I'm Charles Brakefield. We're award-winning co-authors, Brakefield and Berkey, of the Enigma book series. There are 10 books in these series, with book number 11 planned for release in January 2020.
Each story has a central technology focus ranging from identity theft to cryptocurrency and now AI wars. These adult techno thrillers pit cyber good guys against cyber thugs across the darknet.
In our world, technology is today's weapon of choice. You can enjoy ebook format, paper, or Audible. We want your feedback.
Until the next story, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, hello there, my friends. My name is Randy James, independent voiceover producer in the Dallas, Texas area, available to write and record a 30-second commercial, much like the one you're hearing right now. It's a great way to help increase awareness and exposure to your book title. It's easy to do. Simply call me and we'll brainstorm on a few ideas, and in a few hours, I'll whip something up and send you a digital file ready to use. Remember, call or text me, Randy James, at 214-762-1942.
Welcome to IndieLector.store, an online bookstore where the discriminating reader can find award-winning books. IndieLector.store is not a big corporation, so we can give up to 80% of the sales directly to the author. Help us support them by buying a great book at IndieLector.store.
Hello, I am the author and poet Denise Bryson. I am the author of The Things That Cross My Mind, Love's Reality, both in book and audio form. I am also noted as one of the best poets of 2011. I have 2 new projects coming up. One is the Blinky series, where Blinky tells us all about our coins and our bills for our children. I also have a book coming out called Say Ye. It's quotes from Denise Bryson, just inspirational and that will help you along the way.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
Welcome back. We've been talking with Paula Winskye, author of the Reverend Finds His Way, and we were also discussing when we broke for a sponsor break was the understanding between publishing houses and print on demand and the advantages of print on demand. Could you explain that a little bit to the listener?
I just think there's so much more control for the author in print on demand. And also there is not the frustration of submitting and waiting and submitting and waiting. And I guess I'm too impatient for traditional publishers. I want to get my books out. I make sure they're as good as they possibly can before I publish them. I get some other eyes on them to, make sure they're good quality. And, I've got loyal fans, so I must be doing something right.
Sounds like it. So you do bring in an outside proofer for you, a proofreader?
Yes, I have I submit like a chapter at a time to my writers groups and get their feedback on them. And then when I am done, I think I've got it as good as I can. I have another fellow author and another writer who look at them and give me feedback on them. And the one is like does line editing.
Oh, very good. Very good. All right. What is next for you? What do you look forward to in the future?
Well, I have written my first science fiction mystery. And I thank a sci-fi writer friend, Huck Kruger, for getting me started on that path. And it should be out in June.
Oh, very good. Can we get a sneak earful of title or maybe how it's going to head?
Oh, okay, the title is Murder at Taurus, a lunar enforcement mystery. And my main character is Jared Pierce, who is the top cop on the moon, late 21st century. And the worst thing they have to deal with at the 5 settlements on the moon is a barroom brawl, and then someone is murdered. So he uses his background and works with Interpol on Earth to track down the killer.
Oh, well, how interesting. What made you take a turn at sci-fi?
Like I said, my friend Huck Kruger gave me the idea. He writes space travel, aliens type science fiction, and he said, you know, I was thinking I should write a mystery. And so we discussed that his mystery would probably involve aliens who, you know, only a certain kind of alien could commit murder that way. And now that's not for me, but near future on the moon, I could write that kind of science fiction. And in writing it, the world building, I understand now why science fiction writers enjoy it so much. It's fun to create things.
Yes, you get to create not only your voice and your dialogue, but you get to create your whole placement, your whole planet, your whole everything. Who can deny you got it right or wrong?
Although, you know, being near future, I had to make sure that my science was right. I put in my book things that are just in the works now or in their infancy, and I advanced them, you know, about 70 years. And so I had to be very careful about getting my science right.
Mm-hmm. Did you take information from people, say, that are in the industry of space and space travel? Did you seek out those kind of people for insight?
No, I didn't. I just did my research. You know, I don't have access to a lot of people like that out here in rural Arizona, so I just did my research on what's in the future. You know, the future of the moon is commercial, and I found out a friend of mine who is very interested in science said, well, you know, there's lots of ice on the moon, so I have one of the companies mining ice at the North Pole on the moon.
Oh, wow.
So
the very creative mind. One of the things that I want to go back to Tony Wagner and tell me how he came about in your mind and how that played out, because that's not a story of a girl on a horse. It's a more complex idea.
mm-hmm.
So what made you turn into crime drama?
Well, that's what I read. You know, a big fan of Dick Francis, of Tony Hillerman. That is always what I read, was mysteries. And I just asked myself the question, if that's what you like to read, why aren't you writing about it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, very good. Did you have a real life inspiration in mind? Anyone that you knew? That
No, it used to be in my infancy of writing that I would, base the characters in my story on a TV character. And now it's just, they come to me.
it wanders into your mind.
Exactly.
Very good, very creative. Tell me, you've had 10 books in this series. Do you plan on going back to Tony again?
Yes, I have an 11th book. I've sketched out a page with the basic plot on it, and I'm working on another mystery right now. When I finish that one, I will work on the 11th Tony Wagner mystery.
Oh, I know your fans are probably elated.
Tony has a loyal following.
That's good. That's very good. That's exciting to hear the interplay with your audience. Tell me, we were discussing before we went to last break that there was how much time you spend as a writer on a schedule. Do you write on a schedule? Do you produce that way, or is it when the mood hits you?
I'm a morning writer. I don't write as well in the afternoon, and it kind of depends on the weather. When I lived in North Dakota for most of my life, I could spend like 6 months of the year writing and writing and writing. Now living in Arizona, there's more nice weather. So and especially at this time of year, I get outside in the morning. So if I am working on a story, I will tend to write for several hours a day. And in the morning when it's cold outside, and in the afternoon when it's hot in Arizona.
Well, it does do that. You're right. It's very interesting to me to hear the discipline that you've applied to your writing style, and it is very prolific. You have written quite a few things, so that's very exciting to hear, and I think it should be a challenge to the listener and viewer tonight, and that is that you carved this out of your daily thoughts and activities, and that's what we do with writers. Okay, what I need to do is pop off here and go to a sponsor so we can keep everybody happy. So if you'll just stay tuned, we'll be right back with Paula Winskye and find out more about the books that she has available for us, and to find out where we can find them. So be right back.
Hi, I'm Jerry Reedy, author of the book Heat in the Vegas Night. The book is a true inside story of a group of sophisticated blackjack players that take large sums of money from Las Vegas, led by one man, the boss, who trained a group of ex-college athletes from the Pacific Northwest to use a mirror to see the dealer's hole card in blackjack. The true story, stranger than fiction, is about casino espionage, teamwork, guts and determination, and courage. Find the book at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Target.
Thank you for watching or listening to Indie Beacon Radio. Our sponsor, IndieLector.store, is the only bookstore that pays authors their fair share for book sales. Help authors to succeed and enjoy a great book by supporting them at IndieLector.store. Enjoy a 10% discount with coupon code SHOPPER20 at IndieLector.store. Coupon valid until December 31st, 2020. That's IndieLector.store, coupon code SHOPPER20.
The 5th Annual Authors Marketing Event. 2 days of live seminars in marketing for authors. The only organization that certifies authors in marketing. Live and free to the first 100 authors registered. Sponsored by Bubblish, empowering entrepreneurs. And Indie Lector Store, paying authors for their fair share. Head to www.2020.authorsmarketingguild.com today.
What started as a love letter to her son has become an international love letter for all parents to their children. Now you can read acclaimed author Shanalee Charbonneau's story to your children. When her son was very sick, she calmed him by singing her own song to him. She turned that song into the book, My Mama Loves Me, I'm Her Little Boy. She wrote 3 more magical books for all parents and kids 6 and under. Available at Indie Lector, Amazon, and all local and national outlets.
Authors Marketing Guild is a membership-owned organization designed to help authors succeed and learn how to better market and sell themselves and their books. Join us at authorsmarketingguild.com and receive so many benefits you'll wonder why you didn't join sooner. That's authorsmarketingguild.com.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
Welcome back. We've been talking with Paula Winskye, the author of The Reverend Finds His Way. We've been taking the opportunity to learn her thought process and where she is headed on things coming up in the future. And we're very excited to be a part of hearing the good news about new writings coming up. So in addition, Paula, to Indie Books, how do we find your books and how do we make contact with you?
So, well, my website is winskeybooks.com, and so the spelling is Winskye. I also have a Facebook page, author Paula F. Winskye, and I'm new to Twitter, and it's at A. Winskye. You can contact me either through the Facebook page or through the Contact Us page on my website.
Okay, and they can, our readers, our listeners tonight can actually buy straight from you, correct?
I prefer not to, unless they want autographed copies, then we can arrange that. I recently sent 6 books to Saskatchewan by a lady that wasn't on the internet, and she contacted me through her sister. So we finally got her some books. But the links on my website for buying books go to Amazon.
Okay. There was Indie, Indie Beacon, and then there was Amazon. Are you on any other sites like Goodreads or anything like that?
I've started a BookBub account. Not really sure what I'm doing there yet. And I am not sure where all my books are, except that anything that you can get on Amazon, or libraries can get my books. They're through Kindle Direct Publishing. They're available in ebook.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Could you give me your website again, please, so that I have that, and your emails with the spelling so everybody can know how to get a hold of you?
Okay, it's winskeybooks.com, WINSKYE, books.com.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then your website is Winskye Books, is that what it is?
Yeah, winskeybooks.com.
Okay, that's your email address, correct?
No, that's the website.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then they can just go to the contact page on the website, and it will send me an email from there.
And they can see you in your uniform.
Yes, I do. I do have a picture of me in uniform there.
Yes, very official, very official. Well, I am intrigued with the process that people use for writing and how they involve themselves and their lives and the people around them. I'm downloading all of the Tony Wagner books and will be reading them this weekend. And I'm going to keep an eye out for that one set in space. I have a space fascination, and it'll be interesting to see what you do with it.
So, well, thank you. I like the sci-fi mystery so much that I actually have the plot for another one written out too.
There you go. There you go. Well, I appreciate your time and your excitement. I appreciate you helping to make not only readers interested, but future writers. You've given them a pathway to take, and that's what this is all about. So I thank you so much for your time. I know it can be a little bit of a problem within this day and age, but you took and carved out a moment for us, so we appreciate. So
Well,
I thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to tell more readers about my books.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, blessings on you, and keep cranking them out.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. To learn more about Indie Beacon services, to be a guest on the show, or to advertise on our show, please visit our website. Indie Beacon Radio, with hostess Dr. Keitha Story-Stephenson.
Indie Beacon Radio is produced by B. Allen Bourgeois for Authors Marketing Guild LLC, copyright 2020. Voiceover by Randy James, Lydia Bello, and B. Allen Bourgeois. To be a sponsor of the show or for more information, please email us at info@authorsmarketingguild.com. To be interviewed for the show, please complete the form at radio.authorsmarketingguild.com. Music Always Rejoice by Ramcord of Ukraine.